Hey everyone, and welcome back to Small Screen Sagas. I'm your host, Nicole, and today I'm talking about the show from Season 2, Episode 8, entitled Forest for the Trees. I will say I enjoyed the episode. It was good. It left us, wanting more based on how it ended. Although that happened last week with Elgin, and then it's cut to this week. So hopefully next week it's not cut to they just all stayed in the RV together like a happy family. I'm talking about Jim, Randall, and Donna. But overall, I thought it was a decent episode. Not here to complain. I do have a feeling that we'll get some action in episodes 9 and 10. All right, we're going to go small story to bigger story. And Donna was everywhere, so you'll probably hear me talk about her throughout the episode, but let's get to it. First small story. Ellis and Boyd. Ellis is up. He's up and at it. He's walking around. He's moving around. He seems fine. He has a very positive attitude. It's after getting stabbed and then you find out that you have a baby on the way. It puts things in perspective. So he's probably just happy to be alive at this point. He has a baby on the way and he's excited. So he's just about to tell Boyd and then Donna pops up. They do this in TV shows all the time. Like, I have to tell you something. You go first. And then the person that goes first drops something big. And then the other person goes, oh, nothing. I'll tell you later. Or it was nothing. So I hate when that happens because in this case, Donna came because she's like, hey, so-and-so said you were looking for me. And then Boyd goes, okay, give me a second. It takes half a second to say, hey, Fatim is having a baby. We're really excited. Yay! It would just take half a second. And the fact that they didn't have Ellis tell Boyd makes me think something's going to happen to either of the characters. Either Ellis is going to die before he gets a chance to tell Boyd, or Boyd's going to die not knowing that he was about to be a grandfather. I just have a feeling they're not going to see each other again, probably until season 3. I don't know why. Just when they left it open like that, it made me think that they may not see each other again for a while, or something bad is going to happen to one of them where they won't be able to know, Ellis's news. So we'll see where that goes. Then we have Sarah. All right, so Sarah comes to see Boyd and she's like, I'm bored. I have nothing to do. I can't just keep sitting at the church. Nobody wants me here. I want to go back out into the forest and see if I can find answers. Let me go, take a talisman with me, and I'll try to go out farther than you and I went. Boyd says, no, you're trying to run from your problems. We're not doing all that, and everything like that. And she's like, well, I can't just sit in the church and do nothing. Now, I'm going to stick up for Sarah later, but in this scene right here, this specific scene right here, I'm like, Sarah, this is your punishment. Like, you're in jail. And yes, the monsters did sort of manipulate you into doing shit. But people get manipulated all the time. They still face those consequences. It's not like they physically forced her. And she could have told someone. She could have said, this is what's happening. She's not a victim. I don't like seeing this victim storyline that they're putting on this girl. I see it all the time online where people are like, poor Sarah, poor Sarah, poor Sarah. I'll say poor Sarah later on when Randall and Jim come to her. But in this case, no, not poor Sarah. This is a consequence of your actions. So yeah, you are going to be bored. That's like a kid being on punishment and telling you I'm bored. Duh, you're on punishment. That's, go read a book or something. This is punishment. You're going to be by yourself. You're going to have to sit in the corner, whatever the case may be. So I was just like, this girl must not realize the concept of jail. And she's not even in jail. She's at a church, minding her own business. And can go and come when she please. So what if people are giving her the stink eye? I mean, some people who haven't committed any crimes get the stink eye just for being themselves, just for walking around and living and breathing in the U.S. or in any country. So this is like a small piece of what innocent people go through. You're not innocent. I'll move on. With her having that conversation with Boyd talks to Donna and says, hey, and that's when we see Donna and Boyd later on. And he says, hey, give her something to do. Doesn't have to be much. Just needs something. So that next scene when we do see Sarah, she's holding on to her broken ornament. I'm surprised Kenny hasn't come and taken the rest of it or whatever away from her. But Jim and Randall come in and they start asking questions. They ask about Nathan. And Randall outright asks, like, is Nathan still alive? And that's when Donna comes in. And Randall was like, oh, so convenient. You come, you come when we start asking questions. And that's when Donna tells him, get the fuck out. And Sarah's like to Donna, like, why were they asking me about Nathan? Why do they think he's alive? So I want to discuss this scene because, one, Randall's an asshole. We'll get to that. But Jim, like, damn, I was just talking about you last week, Jim. But here you are. What made you, okay, I can't even form the words. What made you think it was appropriate for two grown-ass men to come in here and kind of circle this girl? Like, it's like almost like the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park where they, one comes to your left and one comes to your right. They're like planning their attack. And that's how I felt about this scene. I'm like, this is so inappropriate. What made you think that you two men coming in here and asking these girls questions? You don't know her. It just, and I'm not saying, oh, you got to be scared of men or men should kind of watch what they're doing. But yeah, in a way you should. Like have just be a little bit, have some, I don't know the words. Just think before you do stuff. Because to me, this would be scary if two men I do not know, barely know, are coming here questioning me and I'm in this little church all by myself. It just wasn't cool. It wasn't cool at all for them to do this. And that's why when Donna was like, get the fuck out, because she knew, what are you guys doing in here? Y'all trying to intimidate this girl? If you want to question her, you should have did it with Boyd or somebody there that has already the authority or that has at least established a relationship with her. You guys came in here trying to be sneaky, talking to her. And Jim, you just sitting here, you supposed to be smart, and you just letting Randall run the show? That pissed me off. It pissed me off even more that they have me sticking up for Sarah. I don't want to be sticking up for Sarah, but that was wrong. All right, so that's the last we see of her. Now let's talk about Jade and Victor, and then we'll get into Victor and Tabitha next. And let's not even forget about Victor and Ethan. Well, there was a lot of Victor in this episode, but let's talk about it. Actually, we're just going to do all of Jade, Victor, Tabitha, Ethan, all of that together because I want to kind of go in order, which leads us to everything happening. So Jade and Tabitha are talking, and he tells her about the chaos theory, which is when two what seems to be unrelated events happening. One can be on this side of the world, one can be on the whole other side of the world, and they're actually connected. And that's what he's saying in this case is the symbol is to Victor, I guess, or Victor is one of these things. These things seem unrelated, but Victor has the answers. And Jade says that Victor see these symbols as well. And when Tabitha goes, yeah, he was right there. Jade is on a mission. He's on a mission to go find Victor. And that's when we see Victor. He goes to see Ethan. Julie actually does thank him for saving her life at the colony house. So either she hasn't talked to Victor since this happened, or she hasn't had a chance, like so much has been going on, she hasn't had a chance to stop and say thank you. So I did like that she actually was like, hey, thanks for saving my life. Also knowing that Victor saved her mom's life. So 2 lives in the family, in that Matthews family he has saved. So I like that she said that. Victor comes to get Ethan, which is so cute. It's like a little friend. Can Ethan come out and play? And he gives him an old coat. He says it's getting cold soon. It's getting more colder. Hence, it may be winter. We may be getting some winter weather by the end of the season, or at least in season 3. We may get snow. Who knows? But he gives him this coat, and it fits him great. And then Ethan tries to give him a picture of a drawing he drew of himself. Victor don't want it. He's like, nope. And then Ethan's like, you don't take the picture. I ain't taking the jacket. And I'm like, how does that hurt? How does that hurt Victor? But, Ethan's a kid, and it works. Because they all walk off together. Him, Victor, Ethan, and Julie all go off together. And they're all at the diner chatting. And I didn't notice it the first time watching, but on second watch, they're discussing something because it's kind of like small conversation. And Julie goes, yeah, that's true. And they're talking about the internet. Victor has been there so long. He doesn't know about the internet. I don't know what Ethan described it to him as. Probably you can look at anything you want. Any question you have, you can find. Who knows how you describe the internet to someone who isn't aware of the internet. But Victor thought he was making it up. So he was like, wow, mind blown. Which hopefully may make Victor want to go out to the real world. Like, hey, they got something that you can ask any question you want and you can find the answer. Like, or you can find anybody. Like, I don't know. That would intrigue me. But inside the jacket, he finds a toy. He gives it to Victor. And we do get a quick, like a 5-second flashback of Victor's mom telling him to be brave. Like, it's a little boy. But then Jade comes in harassing Victor for answers for the symbols. He didn't come in cool, calm, collected, or anything. He was mad. He's like, you have to tell us everything you know and everything you've seen so that we can go home. Don't you want to go home? And that's what Victor says, this is my home. We already talked about that early in the season, I believe, or in season 1, whenever I was covering, whatever. I've already talked about that before when Jade was saying, hey, we want to go home to Victor. And I said, Victor probably feels this is his home. This is the only world he's known, only town he's known. So, of course, even though, yeah, it's not the best, but this is what he knows. This is where his mom and sister died. He might feel a connection not to want to leave them. Remember how Miss Lou thought about that also. I believe, who was talking to Miss Lou? Oh, Jade. When Jade was like, hey, if we do find a way home, and he thought she was scared to leave her husband after dying. And she said, we take them with us when we go. So maybe Jade should tell that to Victor as well. We take them with us when we go, and you don't have to be scared to leave your mom and sister behind. Although, at this point, Victor's not even aware of his sister. He's forgotten her. We'll get to that. And then we get another quick flashback. Young Victor, once again, his mom's like, hey, be brave, stay here until the morning. Just draw your pictures. And at first I thought they effed up because I didn't realize Victor had forgot about the sister. I thought the show forgot about it. I'm like, hold on. It showed Victor's mom a couple times now in these flashbacks, and she only hugs Victor goodbye. We didn't see her hug the other kid, and that's because this was Victor's memory. So it's kind of also letting you know that maybe he's not like a reliable narrator. I mean, at least that's what I'm getting from it. Because of his flashbacks that we've seen before, is that exactly how it appeared? Or is it just what he was only willing to remember at this point? Because in this flashback, the first 2 flashbacks, no sister. And then it's not until when he's with Tabitha later on, which we'll get to now. And, we'll get to that. Tabitha's asking, hey, what can you tell us? I know Jade was an asshole to you, but bad things happen here no matter what. Because Victor's like, you start looking for stuff, bad things happen. And she goes, bad things happen no matter what. So if you know something that can help us, please say something. And Victor tells her about the pictures that may help him remember the things that he doesn't remember or he refuses to remember. So, hey, the pictures can tell the story. And it looks like they go back to the place where Victor took Jade to play the violin. I believe that's where they were at. And he opens one of the trunks of the car. And there's all these drawings that he drew. And we get another flashback. And you realize there was a sister. There was another kid there with Victor. And the mom gave him each a hug and kiss goodbye. And Victor starts crying. Because he realizes he blocked that memory because it hurt too much, because of guilt. And we sort of talked about how people on the show have guilt for something that was an accident, or that was not their fault, such as Tabitha's baby. That was just a freak accident. That was an accident, or a freak accident, I would say, if a baby can die off a changing table. But in this case, Victor's sister leaving was not his fault. He too was just a kid. What was he supposed to do? Go stop her and then now put himself in danger? So I get it, like him blocking that memory because it was too painful. But he tells Tabitha that the drawing that she shows, like it's like of a tower. And he goes that his sister told him that's where the mom went to save the children locked in the tower. I don't know about this storyline because he says Eloise, she looked a little younger than him. So how did she have information that Victor didn't have? And then what children in the tower? There were other children here before with Victor. Like, where did that come from? And speaking of Eloise, and since we talk about all the similarities of this show and Lost, I may be pulling at the strings here, but I want to talk about it. Because the sister named Eloise, I'm like, I don't know any Eloise. And like, I barely heard that name. But the first thing that comes to mind when I hear Eloise, I think there is a cartoon or a kid's book or something on Eloise. But the first thing I thought about when I heard Eloise, the name, is I thought of Lost. There's a character on Lost, Dan Faraday. When I saw his name too, I was like, Faraday. It's Faraday. I was like, Faraday. Like far away tree? Okay. I'm like, okay, you you grasping at straws like Randall. Like, you trying to make something connect that has nothing to do with each other, you know? But I'm going to go there. I'm not going to, you know, go too crazy with it. But I did think of Dan Fairway and Eloise, who was his mother. And he lost his memory on Lost 2 without spoiling it. But, like, he loses his memory due to experiments that were done on him. I'm like, okay. You can't tell me the people of this show who've also worked on Lost did not even think that connection. Like, you guys, I'm not saying it's connected, but I'm saying they had to realize the similarities when they wrote this storyline. Like, that someone will grasp at straws like I'm doing right now and be like, Eloise, Faraday, faraway tree, Dan, da-da-da, experiments. Take it with you, Will. It probably has nothing to do with nothing. Even my husband, I was telling my theory, he's like, I don't know. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to do the chaos theory. Two things that are unrelated, but somehow are connected. Maybe. Let's just remember that, okay? All right, next, I want to split it up with Kenny and the Boyd stuff, and then we'll do Jim and Randall stuff, and kind of whoever is in those scenes, we'll just mix it all in together. So the episode comes on. Kenny's house phone is ringing. I was like, what? The phone ringing? Can they call each other like hotels? Like you can call the other hotel rooms, you know, no problem. I was like, I just never heard the phone ring. So I was also suspicious, like, is this a dream? Because it did feel a little weird once the phone started ringing. Like, before, when it first came on, didn't think anything. But once the phone started ringing, I was like, wait, what? And then I was like, this might be a dream. But when he answers the phone, and on the phone, the voice says, they touch, they break, they steal. No one here is free. Here they come for 3, unless you stop the melody. What the fuck? I don't even know what to think. Like, I'm like, okay, Kenny, hurry up and jot this little melody down. But let's just look at some of the words. No one here is free. And then the 3. So when he says the 3, I'm thinking of the people who have heard this music box now since Boyd. Kenny has heard it. Elgin has heard it. Mario has heard it. And I'm separating them from Boyd because we know why Boyd hears the music box or seen it. He saw it really in person, the real music box. So I'm thinking these 3 are here. And I'm grasping at straws. I'm Randall right now, you know, but I do feel like whatever that guy said on the phone is important. Kenny will try to have to remember it later, or maybe the phone will ring again later because something's happening. That wasn't just random words he said. But just then he hears some buzzing. Bugs are in the pot as if they're getting cooked. He hears the music box, and then one of the bugs comes and like bites him / burns him. And that's when he wakes up, or his mom wakes him up, and he does have a bruise on his arm right where the bug had bit him / burned him. I just want to know, after everything Kenny has heard and seen, he already knows about Smiley. He knows about the music box. He knows the worms were real with Boyd. How did he just get up and go on about his day? Like, when Boyd comes to the door, Kenny's just like, oh, yeah, it happened in my dream. Like, what? No, Kenny, too much has happened to you for you not to say anything. Y'all just killed Smiley. You just dissected Smiley, and you saw that, and you were just going to be like, nothing. But then I'm also judging Boyd because he's still keeping secrets. Because when Kenny mentions something burned in my dream or whatever, Boyd does pause. Because remember, he just found out about Elgin. So Boyd does pause about this. But then he goes, hey, Elgin came up with a great idea to make silver bullets. Okay, so we're not going to discuss the elephant in the room. He's telling you a dream just burned his arm. And let's go back to this Elgin and Boyd conversation. So when Boyd was talking to Donna about getting help or saying, hey, if there's anything she can do, can she wash dishes? Can she wash laundry? Can she do something to make herself useful and just, pass the time? At that same time, that's when he finds out about Elgin. Donna tells him about Elgin, how he almost drowned in his sleep. So Elgin tells him what happened, that I was pushed down and then he was being woken up and he spits up water. Someone drowned him in sleep. And Boyd doesn't even address it. He goes, you didn't tell anybody what happened at the clinic, did you? Like, okay, Boyd, you're just making sure your secret stays safe. You're not even trying to comfort this dude. Like, listen to what he's telling you. This is the same thing when Jim came and told you. And I'm not going to blame Boyd for anyone else's actions. But at the same time, I do see if you go to authority and you're like, hey, this is what's happening, you don't see the authority doing anything about it, then you may take matters to your own hands, which makes me concerned with what Elgin may do next. Will he investigate himself? I mean, not himself, but will he investigate on his own? Will he ask Julie for help? I don't know. But he talks about the bile that they got from the Smiley, from the monster, and Elgin says, hey, why don't you make silver bullets? Silver bullets, is that not another vampire thing? Or is that a werewolf thing? Or is it both? Werewolves can't, no. Is it werewolves that can't get silver? Because the reference, obviously, with him saying silver bullets, makes me know that they have vampires and werewolves in the world. Like, they're familiar with that fantasy. Like, so there's either vampire or werewolf movies or both in their universe, if he knew the reference to say silver bullets. It's just important to note, because I haven't heard any pop culture references yet from this show. Like, no one's talking. They're having nightmares. Okay, no one's going to bring up Freddy Krueger. There's no pop culture references. Like, to me, that would something. Are you telling me none of these things exist? None of these scary movies and franchises exist in their universe? You got to give me something here. But Boyd and Kenny go to the clinic. They're like, yep, we're going to need some more vial. Let's just go get some more. Even though I'm like, okay, so the whole talk of operating on Smiley and then taking him outside never happened. Y'all just left him in there. And sure enough, as soon as they get there, we see Mariel going through her withdrawals. And this is what I didn't get. I didn't like this scene at all because it pissed me off. They were way too calm. Christy's like, yeah, something is happening downstairs. Christy, it's daytime. Why are you inside the clinic? I would have felt more believable if they caught Christy and Mariel walking outside like a few feet away from the clinic and they were like leaving the clinic on foot. And then Boyd and Kenny goes, where are you guys going? And you see, Mariel all fucked up and going through her withdrawals, but Christy's like, shit, there's something going on downstairs. We're getting out. We don't have a radio call, you guys, but there's something going on. And then they all walk back in together. But she was just sitting there comforting Mariel. Not saying her withdrawal is not important, but she's just sitting there comforting her, and she goes, yeah, something's happening down there. You know what's down there. So you're pissing me off. Okay? You're pissing me off with how calm you guys were about this noise you're hearing from downstairs. Not to mention, Kenny does ask Mariel, what were you doing down there? And Mariel goes, does it matter? Bitch, you couldn't just answer the question. I hate when they go, does it matter? Yeah, well, you saying doesn't matter, you could have answered in that same breath. You could have just said, I was down. I don't know what the fuck she was doing down there. Maybe Mariel was trying to get some of that bile. I don't know what was going on. I don't get why she would have been down there on her own. But either way, so I just want to throw that out there because something I feel may come from that. They didn't just have Kenny ask for no reason. But Boyd and Kenny go down there. They do hear noise. Boyd tries to tell Kenny to bounce. He'll take care of it. Kenny's like, nah, I got your 6. Nah, he didn't say that. But they open the door and there's some cicadas, what they call them. Let's just call them flying bugs. And they're eating at Smiley's dead body. And Kenny goes, hey, these are the things I saw in my dream. And they go back upstairs and he's telling them. He's like, these are the things I saw in my dream. And then I wake up with this bruise on my arm. And that's when Christy goes, and Elgin almost drowned in his dream, his nightmare. And then Mariel starts freaking out even more. And she's like, these things can hurt us and then while we're sleeping? Oh no. And then Donna pops in and goes what's going on? It was just a crazy little scene. And they were being so heavy-handed with Donna this week after the whole Randall saying someone should be involved. I'm kind of disappointed in the writers because they were so heavy-handed. And it was do they think that we're going to think Donna is in on it? We're not going to think that. I mean, I didn't think that for a second. The harder they pushed of having Donna pop up in every scene, the more upset I got. Because it was do you guys think I was born yesterday? I'm not Randall. I'm not all of a sudden going to think Donna's involved. We've seen Donna do a lot to keep these people safe. I heard Donna's story about her sister. Donna's not involved. Donna's not the type. Look at Donna and then look at Sarah. Who's more mentally stronger? Not being mean. And that's who would be involved. Maybe somebody that's quiet, keeps their head down. That's who I have involved. I would put Dale before Donna. And I'm not even worried about Dale being involved either, because he's worried about the food. Why would be so worried if you know this is an act? I mean, that could be part of it. But I would put Dale before Donna, and I don't even think Dale's involved. So then popping Donna up, and it was just like, really? You guys think this is my first TV show I watch? Like, come on. Stop being so heavy-handed. This is going to fall for the newbies. It ain't going to fall for me. Or I ain't going to fall for it. But Donna's pretty pissed. She's mad at Boyd. She's like, I can't believe you didn't tell me. I just literally saw you 2 hours ago, talking to me about Sarah, and you didn't mention shit. And Boyd's like, well, I'm telling you now. She's like, no, you're not telling me now. I caught you. So now you're telling me. I liked when she said that. But they go in the room, and there are no bugs. They're all gone. And Donna's like, well, maybe they flew out. He's like, no, you don't understanding. There were hundreds of them. There's no way that all of them got out? Every single last flying bug? No. And Donna's like, yo, we need to burn it. Let's do that. And they don't want really anyone staying at the clinic that night. And they, come to this place. And that's when Christy's like, I ain't staying anywhere with Sarah. And I'm like, yeah, keep that up. Keep that up, Sarah. Keep that up, Christy. And Boyd says, well, you guys should stay at the Colony House. You're going to need help because her withdrawal is going to get worse. And then going to the Colony House with Mariel. The Colony House is like filled with recreational drugs. I don't know if that's the best place for her. Maybe she needs to go to Miss Lou's house or somebody else's house. Not there. I would normally say maybe she go to Sarah's house, but I think that was Sarah's house at the end with the guy in the blood, but Sarah's old house. But I don't know. I would not say Colony House is a bad place for her. Sarah should go to the church, and then they should go to the sheriff's house. Let Sarah stay there by herself at the church. But we'll see. So we get Boyd and Kenny. They burn Smiley, and Kenny's like, this feels different. It's one thing when the monsters come out of the forest, but it's another for them to come out of our dreams. It's a kind of scare I can't even imagine. I'm like, that's pretty much what Martin told Boyd. Like, the shit out here is way more scarier than the monsters that come out at night. And I believe it. And it had to do with the music box and everything else. And I believe it, because this is, how do you go? You have to go to sleep. Freddy Krueger is pretty scary. That's scary. That's something you have to go to sleep, and he'll come in your dreams, and you can be killed in your dreams. And Boyd does earlier say, like, we'll sleep in shifts or something like that. But once again, they're all keeping it a secret. Donna's like, take the body away and burn it far where no one's asking questions. This is not a town where you should be keeping secrets. You're putting other people's lives at risk. They don't know if they're going to go to sleep and someone get killed in their dreams, or somebody else try to kill him. It's too dangerous to keep this a secret. You need to tell people in a calm, collective manner. We are having a town hall meeting at the church to discuss some very important things that's happened in the last few days. Point blank period. No one interrupt. We'll take questions at the end. This is what's happened. That's it. This whole keeping secrets from people, it just doesn't work. They're going to find out in the end. Yeah, some things, I guess if it had nothing to do with nothing, it didn't bother them at all, I could see. But in this case, this can affect a lot of people. This can affect everyone. Clearly what happened at the end with the guy with the blood. Not to mention, which I was thinking when the guy at the end with the buzzing, we'll get to it. Well, actually, we'll just get to it when we get to it, because I have some thoughts on that. All right, now let's discuss Jim and Randall. Disappointed in Jim. Disappoint. You have a daughter. You have a son. You have a wife. Now you about to be in jail for aiding and abetting kidnapping a person. So we get Randall and Jim at the beginning, and they're talking about the experiment still. And Jim says there's value in finding out, how long it takes people to break. Because Randall's like, what's the point of the experiment? Well, people are fucked up. But Jim says, hey, it's value in finding out what breaks people, because then they can use it for other stuff, like military and different things, But when they attached the antenna to the drone, I guess the antenna was too heavy because the drone doesn't go that far up. And that's when Randall's like, we need to be looking at the residents. And Jim is like, yo, we can't just go around accusing people. And that's when Randall, I really don't know how to describe it except for like what we've seen in the last 5 years. You know, you can show people something. They can see it literally in front of their face and they'll still deny it, or they'll make up reasons of why it's not the case. I'm not even going to give examples. There's plenty of them. And in this case, that's what Randall's pretty much doing. He's in denial. He's in denial. He's like, hey, have you actually seen any of these people get killed? Because, yeah, I saw a dead body, but I didn't get close to investigate if it was real or not. And I haven't actually seen anyone myself get killed. And Jim's like, yo, the dude that was on the bus with you. So, like, what? He's gone? Is he involved too? Like, Randall really didn't even answer that question. And he goes, hey, we need to see proof. And then Jim goes, oh, well, Sarah's brother. I saw him dead. But did you? Is he really dead? And that's where they got on that whole is he really dead nonsense. And that's when we get them going to Sarah at the church and everything like that. And immediately after that, Jim is like, we can't go around accusing people. What we need to do is stay out. We'll spend the night in the RV. And this way we can watch from the woods without them knowing we're even there. And they won't know that we're there. And that's how we can really see anything. But what are you going to see? Like, Jim, use your brain. If you're out in the woods in the RV, okay, so you'll see the monsters walk by just like you did the first night you were here. But no one else is out in the woods, so how would you see the monsters do anything? And maybe that's where Randall's brain went. Like, okay, we're going to see the monsters walk around, but we're not going to, or the quote-unquote monsters walk around, but I want to actually see them in action. So Randall's willing to sacrifice Donna because he thinks Donna's involved, but he didn't want to sacrifice himself. He never opened that door to the bus, but he was willing to sacrifice Donna. But before we get to that, we see Jim go to the diner. He tells Julie, I'm going to stay the night in the RV, try to figure out what's going on. Tell your mom when she gets here. I have a bad feeling Julie is going to be watching Ethan on his own. Because I feel that Tabitha may not get back in time in the evening. And Jim is going to be off doing his thing in the evening. And Julie, something's going to pop off. Jim may lose one of his kids. Something may end up happening this night. And this may be what Jim needs to see. I don't think they would do anything to Ethan. But who knows? Julie may end up getting killed. And then he'll see, okay, this is not experiment. My own daughter got killed. You know, so I just have a feeling something's going to go on. Especially since he told her where he was going. Something's going to happen. Maybe Donna will get saved because he might go back and say, the dad said he was going to RV. I don't know. Something's going to happen with him telling Julie this. Something's going to come from this conversation. And Donna confronts Jim and goes like, I cannot believe you've been putting all these thoughts in that idiot's head. He's going to be dangerous. He's going to do some stupid shit. She was right. And Jim outright lies and says, I didn't tell Randall about the voice. Liar. And talking to Sarah was stupid. They all just want to go home. So Jim is trying to sound like a normal, reasonable person to Donna here. Acting like, yeah, it was stupid. Just forget about it. We won't do it again. And she believed him. And then we see Randall do the same thing. And she seemed less open to believing Randall. But he was so calm and he used all the right words. He's like, I'm sorry. Like, we want to go home. He's like, we're all in this together. If I hear that saying, they said it so much during the pandemic, and it was like, narrator was like, that's not true. We're not all in this together. But he says it. Donna finally does seem like, okay, fine. You know, I'm willing to talk. But cut to, we get Jim going to the RV. Donna's van is right there. Because when he first gets there, I'm like, there was another car out there? I don't remember that. But no, it's Donna's van. And Randall has Donna tied to a tree while he's sharpening up his stick or his knife. And I kind of call into question this scene. I call bullshit. That's what I call. How did Randall get Donna tied to this tree? He's just tying her along and what? He has his knife to her? You're not going to tie me to the tree when I know what's out here waiting for me. I'd rather you just go ahead and kill me. Like they always say, never let someone take you to a second destination. You might as well just let them kill you right there. If they put a gun to you and you get in the car, no, you're going to kill me right here. You take me to a second destination, you're going to do horrible shit to me and then kill me anyways. So might as well kill me right here. And that's what I was thinking about Donna. Like, there's no way Randall was able to. How? Yeah, I mean, it looked like she had a little bump on her head. So unless he bumped on her head, dragged her out there while she was unconscious, all on his own, was able to stand her up and tie her to the tree, all without her waking up. I just don't believe that he was able to do that. It seems like it would take at least two people. I don't know. But he tells Jim new plan. So I cannot wait to see what happens next week. Nothing better happened to Donna. I hope something, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's going to happen. And I said before I didn't want Randall to die. I wanted him to learn a lesson. But I don't know. He may have to go because he's being very dangerous right now. I thought he's learned. I thought he's figured out, yes, these things are real. And clearly he hasn't. But that is all we got, you guys. I thought the episode was really good. I enjoyed it. It was fun to talk about again. And we got 2 more episodes left in the season. Episode 9 and 10. So I cannot wait to watch. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I think there's going to be a death. I don't even need a death necessarily. I need something to get scared. I need some real shit to happen. And I need Victor to get scared. I need Jim to get scared. And I think something bad does have to happen in order for them to believe. But that is it. If you guys want to be part of the podcast, hit me up, host@theverdictsin.com. That's HOST@theverdictsin. You can also follow me on Twitter @theverdictsin or facebook.com/verdictsin. And then, of course, there's my TikTok @Nicole Clark. And listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. Like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. All right, until then, I'm Nicole.